Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Auto Repair Marketing Podcast. I am your host, Brian Walker, and my co host, as usual, is Kim. And today, our guest is Stephen Fafel from AutoOps. Before we get too far into our podcast, I do want to thank our sponsor. So, thank you to our friends at RepairPal for providing this episode. RepairPal's certified network of shops are trusted by millions of customers each month. Learn more at repairpal.com/shops. Well, welcome, Stephen, and thank you for being with us today.
Perfect. Yeah, and thanks for having me on. Excited to talk about online scheduling and how that kind of collides with your marketing world.
Great. Well, we have known Stephen for just a short time now, and have started using their product on some of our clients' websites, and we like what we see. So we invited him on today to talk about online scheduling. That is the tool that they have built. AutoOps is an online scheduling tool that goes on your website and has a full integration with your shop management software. Stephen, what made y'all create this software? What got you into this space?
Definitely, yeah. It's a good question, and I'm going to be fully honest. Before I got into the space, I didn't understand how valuable online scheduling was in almost any industry. I the first time someone introduced the concept to me, I was like, this doesn't sound that cool. And then you start to look into it, and I basically went to all the auto shops websites near me, and I saw the same boring request form over and over again, where it was just basically a contact form. It would ask for, hey, put in 3 suggestions for a time that works for you. I knew that shop owners were getting an email, looking at their shop management software, contacting the customer back. And it seemed like a inefficient experience to me. I was living in California. I moved back to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I had transitioned out of another company, and there was a company working on online scheduling in the home services space that I had a connection to. And my business partner and I from the previous venture basically walked into their office and said, hey, we think that the automotive space is at the same space that the home services industry was about 4 years ago. I see on HVAC Plumber's website, I see the same type of forms, and I see the lack of integration, the lack of intelligence when it comes to capacity and availability, and just generally the lack of a modern and engaging experience. I see it in every other industry when it comes to a workout class, a doctor's appointment, a restaurant reservations, but I don't see this for auto shops. So we talked to their leadership, got a few of them on board, and started an entirely new company here at AutoOps, and have been solely focused on online scheduling for the last year and a half.
That's one of the pain points that we have actually had, with many of our clients is, building that same old boring form that, really was just someone asking. They were making a request for an appointment rather than making an appointment. And that's one of the things that we love about the tool that y'all have created is that they get to actually make an appointment, select the exact time and day that they're going to be there, and it is set. So, tell us a little more about the process that you went through of creating this and bringing it to the automotive industry.
Definitely, yeah. And to touch back on what you were saying about the form is that most shop owners, it's a way for them to collect information after hours. They just want to get the customer's information. They know that it's not a great experience. They know that they'll have a bunch of emails in the morning, but they'll get back to it. But yeah, kind of going into the starting point, probably the first starting point was understanding that we needed integration. Is that that's actually what's going to provide the time saving benefits of not having to type all that information when you get a customer calling. You don't have to type in all of the customer information, all the vehicle information, all the appointment times. But then really understanding that's the only way to get to understanding the availability. Is that an online scheduling tool is there's not a ton of value if you can't actually see the calendar that you're scheduling to. So just to completely eliminate double bookings, that was probably our first focus. From that, obviously, we really had to spend a lot of time to understand how shops currently operate. And that's what led us into basically the schedule settings that we created. So when we talk about the intelligence around availability and capacity, kind of the availability is understanding their shop management software's calendar. When we're talking about capacity, that's when we talk about the schedule settings that we've created that can be things such as, hey, I only want customers to schedule as soon as 2 hours out, but not more than 14 days out. Or I only want 4 appointment times at this time slot in the morning, but I want to be able to offer only 2 in the afternoon. So, kind of getting into the nitty gritty of working with shop owners to understand, A, what schedule settings do you need to truly fit the way that you currently schedule your customers? And then understanding even things we continue on these days to understand, hey, you might have this availability on this day for this type of car, for this type of service with this type of technician, but on a different day, you may not have that availability, and understanding the best way to work with shop management softwares. Kind of getting past the integration process of really understanding that and completing that is we obviously wanted it to be an enjoyable experience for customers. Is that's one of the biggest parts of AutoOps is that this is an enhanced scheduling experience. If your shop has this type of online scheduling, you'll be known for having the most frictionless scheduling experience. And a big part of that is the engaging experience. So from the integration on the availability capacity side, we also use the integration to really create an engaging experience by pulling the customer's information into the tool. One thing we talk about, and I'm sure you guys know this as being on the marketing side, is that customers are getting smarter. They have the ability to understand when they're filling out just a contact form. They know that this is just going to send them an email. They may get a call in the morning, but they know it's not a real appointment, and they know that there's going to be more steps to their scheduling process. When you're in a scheduling tool such as AutoOps that pulls up your name, all the vehicles you've scheduled with, you start to understand, oh, this is a live scheduling experience that actually is communicating with whatever's going on at the shop. That's all the customer knows. And really, once they see that, that's when they're tied in and they feel more comfortable. But then following that up, and once again, this is something else on our journey that we've developed, is really hitting on the reminders. When it comes to getting a confirmation when you schedule, but then the reminders and being able to customize those for drop-offs for waiters. Kind of that's another step in the journey is, as you get deeper into this, the first day we're like, okay, we'll just focus on the integration, but then it's like, okay, but what about drop-offs for first waiters? Really, as we've come along those hurdles in our journey, our default has always been let the shop owner decide. There's going to be a million different ways that people run their shops. And so that's kind of what we focus on in our dashboard is giving full customizability to getting the needed services. They can ask any kind of questions they want. We provide a default flow, but shops have the ability to customize any questions they want. Obviously, the color, the theming, they have the ability to customize drop-offs and waiters, all of their services, the time durations around those, whether they're drop-off or waiter eligible, all their schedule settings. So, yeah, I think the pain point along the roadmap for us in terms of the dashboard was seeing the cookie cutter approach to every shop. That every shop gets the same form, and we know that every shop doesn't work the same way. So, jumped around a little bit there, but that's kind of been our evolution through building AutoOps.
So this
You know,
thing
one
is
of the
it, go ahead,
I
Kay.
was just going to say one of the many things that you just mentioned that I really love is the dedication to improving the user experience. I personally get super annoyed when I have to constantly type in or write out the same thing over and over again. So I love that integration that you've already connected with that client before. It's pulling in all that same information. They're not having to recreate the wheel. I in the past, I mean, I don't have to use a shop often because Brian obviously can work on our cars, but I remember it was the VIN number somewhere. And I'm like, I already gave y'all this. Why am I having to enter this again? Now I have to go out to the car. But anyway, I appreciate that you're really
Yeah.
perfecting that user experience.
And I think something else on the user experience side is that the normal experience of a customer whenever they go to one of these forms is they see all this information from them. They see like 20 different fields and they're like, I just don't have the time for this. I'm just going to call or I'm just going to do something else.
Hmm.
What we focus on is we just show you one step at a time. Hey, just tell us what
Hmm.
service you need. Okay, you just put in your phone number. We pulled up our stuff. Just tell you what time. So I think it's a lot less overwhelming of an experience, especially compared to calling into the shop. I think people forget a lot of the times that people outside of the automotive industry are not always as handy as
Hmm.
us in the automotive industry. So sometimes calling a shop and then they start asking you all questions about your car, you're just like, I don't really know.
Yeah,
You don't
give
know what's
up.
going on. So sometimes being able to kind of schedule at your own pace um, is a good experience
Yeah.
for the customers.
Well, it's also a very generational thing, the way that people like to do things. I am that person that if I have the opportunity to do something online, I'm going to do it online. Uh, I would much rather not have to pick up the phone. I know a lot of people that are at my age range, which I'm getting close to 50 now. So, um, people that are in that age range, you can kind of get this mix of the ones who have really embraced technology and the ones that would really just they'd rather pick up the phone and have a conversation. But as the years go by and your customer base changes, it's going to be more and more of the people that would much rather have a digital experience rather than picking up the phone. I'm wondering, with y'all being in the business that you're in, have you like what have you seen as far as statistics, or just what the pattern is of the that change that's happening?
Yeah. No, and it's definitely it's not as generational as I thought it was. Obviously, there is statistics, and I don't know these statistics off the top of my head about the age split. But when we're talking generally about online scheduling, the general statistic is that 78% of people expect to be able to schedule online at whatever they're doing. But something I think that is a little different for us is that we're on the shop's website. We're not in scheduling app. And I think that's what a lot of those statistics that are showing, like, hey, the older generation is slower to get on. If it's an app or something a little bit more technical, there's a big drop. But when it's just on a shop's website, um, anyone of any age just sees that schedule appointment button and they tap it. So it's not as technically cumbersome and worrisome for a lot of people. We've had surprisingly, I've going into this business, I definitely thought that that was going to be a concern. Obviously, honestly, even working with older shop owners, but older shop owners have been some of our absolute best clients. They understand it just as well as anyone else. And I think really the thing that everyone can understand is just the more frictionless you can make the experience, the easier customers are going to get in your shop. So I think anyone of any age can understand that.
Yeah, I've had some conversations with shop owners about that, because we will still get shop owners who will say this, and even in some cases insist that they do not want online scheduling on their website because they want to give their service advisor that opportunity to talk to the person and get them to come in. And I understand where they're coming from, but even beyond that, your service advisor doesn't work 24 hours a day, whereas online scheduling does.
Yeah.
Your service advisor can't have a silent conversation with someone who is sitting at their desk and they're supposed to be working, but they're actually making an appointment for their car. And we know that happens constantly. So there are reasons where you always want to give people the options to schedule in as many different ways as they possibly can.
Yeah. And that's a good point you hit on, is that obviously online scheduling, the way it's set up, that we're looking at the shop management software's calendar. If someone calls in, and there are 100% customers who want to call in, who want to schedule in a different way, we don't interrupt that. And I don't think any online scheduling tool should interrupt that process. We just say, hey, we'll look at the availability on your calendar. If you manually put in an appointment, no problem. We'll update that on our calendar in our scheduler, to be able to show the customers who do want to book online the true availability. And the other thing we're conscious of, I think a lot of times I am not one who promotes, like, never talk to the customer, like, just, key in the door, never speak to them ever. I still think it's great to have some level of human interaction if the customer wants, with the customer. But, I just like that being in shop. A lot of times right now people are scheduling over the phone, so I don't think we really get in the way too much of the human experience of it, because the human experience still occurs in the shop.
Yeah, and the system it's so good that you know I'm probably wrong when I say this, but you it's like you still get some of the human experience, because the platform is asking the same kind of questions that a service advisor would be asking.
Yeah.
I've seen where people have the opportunity not only to schedule, but right there they can pick from existing services that you already have in place, where they've got pricing to choose from and everything, so that they're the system is actually selling the service to the person who's interacting with it.
Yeah. And kind of an interesting note on that, a feature we released recently is we had some shop owners say, hey, I have people who still want to call in, but we want to standardize our service advisors asking the same kind of questions, submitting the appointments in the same kind of way. So we now have an internal scheduler. It removes the verification code for service advisors only. And what that allows them to do is book on behalf of the customer. So the customer's on the phone, but they're just going through the tool right there. And then they, once again, save the time, and the customer will get reminders in the same way if they schedule themselves. And kind of tying into that, you were hitting on it a little bit, and this is something I wanted to hear your guys' opinion on. Is really a focus of AutoOps is this enhanced and the best opportunity to convert a customer. Obviously, you guys do a fantastic job when it comes to your guys' website, when it comes to your SEO, when it comes to all the marketing you're doing for shops. You guys do a fantastic job, and obviously, you guys convert plenty of customers. But I think for the shops that really want to say, hey, I want the best opportunity for someone to convert and get in my shop and schedule now. Have you guys seen issues with that in the past of just they have great marketing, but they just struggle with getting them in the shop at the end of the day?
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, we do. One of the things that we see often, and we did a podcast about this recently, where Cecil Bullard was our guest, and we were talking about phone skills. And there's almost this epidemic of shops out there, and we understand, people are having a hard time hiring, but there's so many shops out there that they're paying for marketing, and the people who are answering the phone have terrible phone skills. So, this is one of those things where the online scheduling can actually bypass that. But we listen to phone calls, and it's crazy how many times people don't even ask for the appointment. They don't ask the person to come in. They don't
Some
they
of them
don't
don't
ask
even say the
them.
name of the shop when they pick up the phone.
Yeah, it, it's
Painful.
really terrible. And the more that you can, if you're in that situation, the more that you can bypass that, the better. I gave the example a few minutes ago of the shops that are like, no, I want my service advisors to talk to the client, and that's because their service advisors are, they are absolutely amazing at customer service. But how many shops are out there that are not in that position, and can provide a great experience before the person even comes in, and they don't have to worry about now, let me be real careful in saying that they need to worry about this. They need to get their service advisors, where they are, top notch with their phone skills. But this is one way where you bypass that completely. The other thing
Yeah.
that our team loves about this tool is that we're able to track the marketing all the way through. When we're just having someone fill out a form, we don't know if an appointment was ever made. Whereas with AutoOps, we do know if it was made. And when y'all built the tool, you had enough foresight to know that marketers were going to need to be able to see these things. So you gave us a variety of ways to track uh, the um, the sale, through the tool, and that has been a big help as well.
Yeah.
Just like the transition from marketing to sales with the phone call, though, you're only as strong as the weakest link in your chain, right? And so if it's not a phone call, then that link between, say, the ad and the scheduler and the shop software, if the form, if the scheduling tool is a problem, well, that comes back on us, right? Our clients are asking us to do ads for them, and they're paying for those clicks, but then the crappy tool that they're using is not truly working the way that it should. That is a huge problem. So, whether it's the service advisor answering the phone or the form not working the way that it should, that is of huge importance to us and the shops that are using us for that. And I mean, whether they're using us or anyone else, that whole the chain has multiple links in it, and this is a part of that. So
Yeah.
it's super important.
Yeah, 100%. The rest of my team will appreciate you you enjoying the marketing that we just carry that the entire marketing attribution the whole way through. That was something that they took from their previous experience at that home services company, is that people, when they hear the word iframe or widget, all they hear is you're stopping the flow of marketing data. And it took us a little bit of time to really make sure, click IDs, UTM
Mhm.
tags, param tags, any custom campaigns you want to do are carried the entire way through. And we're actually working on expanding that chain once again through our integrations with the shop management softwares down to the actual ROs, the closed ROs at the end of the day, so that we can tie, hey, this person saw this ad and it related to this amount of dollars. And yeah, that's something, a benefit we definitely want to provide, is that um, we want to be able to show exactly where customers are coming from. A lot of times, I think, do you guys use CallRail or anything like call tracking? You can
Mhm.
get some of that information. That's definitely a good, because once again, you're still going to have people calling in, so you definitely need that. But we basically are that for everything else that isn't coming over the phone, is showing exactly which ad they came from.
Yeah. Yeah. So now Stephen will be able to 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 talk to this, but I was hesitant at first when we first talked, and I know that I put this poor guy through the ringer, um, because I'm one of those people that I do not recommend products until I have seen that product in use, seen it work, and seen it work well. Because there have been too many times where people build something, they make all these promises, and then it does not do what they say it is going to do. Um, and the fact that we have them on this podcast right now, I mean, this podcast really is supposed to be more about online scheduling, but we're talking a lot about the tool that they've created, which is AutoOps, and they did do a great job creating this tool. It does work the way that that it is supposed to work, and it is providing a great experience for the people who are using it. What all shop management systems are you integrated with right now? And let me say first, because people could be listening to this at any point. Today is May 31st, 2023, as we are recording this. So you're integrated with certain shop management systems, but you're also continuing to build out these integrations. So if you don't hear your shop management system on here, check and see if it is done now. But which ones are you integrated with?
Correct. Yeah, and thanks for bringing this up. So TechMetric, Protractor, Shopware, ShopMonkey, Mitchell One, which is obviously an on-premise solution, and then ones that I would say are in the pipeline were, actually, I'll save those. Just I want to make sure I'm able to disclose those, so I'll save those. But there's two more. If you didn't hear yours, the likely chances is it's one of those two that I didn't mention. But hopefully, with obviously we have a lot of the cloud-based ones covered, and then Mitchell on the on-premise side. And yeah, thanks for, and once again, I would be promoting other scheduling tools if there were similar ones to us, but we really are the only company. This is our only focus. We really focus as AutoOps, is we want to stay in our lane and keep focusing on online scheduling. Is we don't want to become a full service marketing company. Obviously, we let you guys do a great job at that. We let you guys stay in your marketing lane, and we really want to focus on this. And I think sometimes it seems like a small point, just online scheduling. But we really see it as, yeah, getting the customer in the shop in the best way possible. So we're excited to keep expanding. We have some cool stuff. Kind of one thing I can hint at is things we think is bringing preventive maintenance or decline service actually into the tool. So that's a thing we can do when we have the integration and the knowledge of declined work, is that when someone puts in their phone number, not only are we pulling up their name, their vehicle information, but we're recommending work that have been declined at a previous visit, or that is recommended for the service that they chose.
So it makes it super easy for them. Months later, they're making an appointment. A valve cover gasket was recommended on a previous repair. It pops up, or it will. Like, this is not a function yet, right?
This is not a current functionality, but yeah, I
Right.
would say in the next month or two, that's going to be added.
So, and when it does, it'll show them that. It'll show them the price, and then they can select it right there and approve it and say, I'm bringing the car in for this work.
Correct. Yeah. And so, yeah, it definitely will recommend the service. And it's an interesting note you hit on earlier. I wanted to make a comment. So pricing, we stay out of that for now. In the comments beneath services, shops are able to dictate prices, but we've heard mixed reviews on if people want to show pricing up front. Another thing we've heard a lot from shop owners, and once again, as a somewhat newer company, we're taking feedback all the time, is do you want to be able to offer a quote? Do you want to be able to offer an exact price? Do you want to offer no pricing? So we can handle that in some fashion right now, but we're definitely collecting more information. Once again, we just need more feedback on how people want to integrate prices. And obviously, if anything was released, it would be an option. It wouldn't be required for you to put prices on.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that our listeners, anything that we didn't cover today that they should know?
I think we hit the main points: the saving time through integration and enhanced consumer experience, and then the marketing benefits. I think once again, and we've had a fantastic experience with all the shared shop marketing pros clients that we have. All of your We feel comfortable having our tool on their website because we know that they're going to get plenty of traffic and that they're going to have that base to actually, once again, AutoOps is only as good as if people are using it. So working with you guys, we know that people are going to your websites. We're always probably the most excited to share your guys' website just because we know you guys make us look good. And so I think that's most of all we covered today.
Awesome.
So are you guys going to be at any of the, say, fall season, or not even fall? There's some in the summer. Where are you guys going this year?
So we'll
Conferences?
definitely be at the popular ones, the ASTIs, the Apexes. I have to chat with my team about what smaller events there's. Yeah, we may be at one in Pennsylvania. We may be at one I heard over in Tennessee, but I'll get some more details and hopefully release some information soon on that.
Got it. Yep.
All
We will
right.
definitely be at those. So we'll see you as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on today. If someone wants to find out more, how should they do that?
Yeah, so you can visit autoops.com/SMP for any SMP clients. There will be a decent discount for you guys that we'd love to extend on their behalf. Once again, Brian and Kim have never talked about money on either side. They're super committed to just providing a good product, which has been cool for our team to see. It's really easy to build trust in that. So yeah, for anyone generally, autoops.com. If you're an SMP client or want more information, autoops.com/SMP.
All right. Well, thank y'all for listening today. Remember, we are just one of 5 amazing podcasts on the Aftermarket Radio Network. You can find out more about the others at aftermarketradionetwork.com, and you can find them all on your favorite listening devices. We hope that you'll tune in again next week. And until then, go fill those bays.